Welcome to Curious Lab.
Imagine the lights are fading. Your heart has stopped. The doctors have checked your pulse and called the time.
14:32.
To the outside world, you are gone. But inside the skull, in the dark, wet electrical storm of the human brain, the lights are still on. In fact, they might be brighter than they've ever been. For decades, we've believed death was like flipping a light switch on, then off. But modern science is revealing something far more cinematic. There is a twilight zone between life and clinical death. A period of approximately 7 minutes where your brain may be processing your entire existence, firing every neuron in a final desperate symphony. What if your life really does flash before your eyes? And what if those 7 minutes feel like a lifetime? Today, we'll go inside the dying mind. This is the science of the final threshold. To understand what happens in those final 7 minutes, we have to redefine death. Clinically, death is a cessation of the heartbeat and breathing. But the brain is a greedy organ. It consumes 20% of your body's oxygen. When the heart stops, the brain doesn't just die instantly. It panics. When oxygen stops flowing, the brain's energy currency, ATP, bottoms out. This triggers what scientists call spreading depolarization. Think of it like a massive tidal wave of electricity moving across the cerebral cortex. Normally, neurons maintain a delicate balance of ions, sodium on the outside, potassium on the inside. Without energy, these pumps fail. The ions flood across the membranes. In 2022, a team of scientists inadvertently recorded the brain of an 87-year-old patient who passed away during an EEG scan. What they found was tachygyring. Just seconds before and after the heart stopped, the brain showed a massive spike in the gamma oscillations. Gamma waves are associated with high-level cognitive functions, memory retrieval, meditation, and conscious perception. The brain wasn't shutting down, it was hyperactive. This suggests that even as the body fails, the brain is performing its most complex task yet, an organized, high-speed retrieval of information.
Move to the OR now.
Pulse is dropping. Hang another bag.
We're almost there. Hold
For
on.
years, near-death experiences were dismissed as hallucinations or religious worships, but the AWARE study, led by Dr. Sam Pernia, changed the conversation.
The human brain remains one of the most complex structures we know. Manipulating it carries profound ethical implications.
Researchers followed over 2,000 cardiac arrest patients. Of those who were brought back, nearly 40% described some form of awareness during the time they were clinically dead. Case 102. A patient described watching the medical team from a corner of the ceiling. He accurately described the sounds of the machines and the physical appearances of the doctors,
Correlates with the arrest.
details he could not have known while unconsciousness and facing the other way. Why do people report feeling peace or bliss?
Fly and stand clear.
Clear.
As the brain shuts down, it releases a massive flood of DMT. DMT is one of the most powerful hallucinogens known to a man. It is produced naturally in the pineal gland. This chemical surge may explain the tunnel of light or the feeling of entering a different dimension. The brain is essentially self-sedating to manage the trauma of its own end. Perhaps the most haunting part of the 7 minutes isn't the science. It's the behavior. Doctors and hospice nurses have reported a phenomenon known as terminal lucidity. Days or hours before the end, often falling within those final windows of the brain activity, patients with advanced Alzheimer's or dementia suddenly wake up. People who haven't spoken in years suddenly recognize their children, ask for their favorite meal, or crack a joke. Doctor's observation. It's as if the brain clears all the static for one final broadcast. We see the real person return for a few minutes before the final surge. Science has proven that hearing is the last sense to go. In a study published in Scientific Reports, researchers used EEGs to track the brain activity in dying patients and found that the brain still responds to the sound even when the patient is unresponsive.
I love you so much.
This means that in those final 7 minutes, when you can no longer move your eyes or squeeze a hand, you can still hear Meera whispering your name or Karthik's voice at your bed. You are there, trapped in a silent room, listening to the world say goodbye. So, what is happening in those 7 minutes? The brain is a storytelling machine. When it loses its grip on the present, it retreats into the past. Because time is a construct of the brain, those 7 minutes of the biological activity might feel like an eternity to that person experiencing them. Research suggests that the brain's hippocampus and prefrontal cortex work together in these final moments to play back your greatest hits. It's not just a movie, it's a reliving. You feel the warmth of the sun on a beach from 20 years ago. You smell the perfume of a first love. You hear the laughter of your children.
You're so funny.
Death is the one journey we all take alone. But science shows us that we aren't just turning off. We're finishing our story. In those final 7 minutes, you aren't just a patient on a bed. You are a traveler, revisiting every person you loved, every mistake you made, and every joy you felt. You are, for one last moment, truly and vividly alive. If you had 7 minutes left to replay your life, which memory would you choose to stay in the longest? Let us know in the comments.